The server ping was tight, the shaders were running smoothly, and the 6 players dropped into the blocky, boreal forest biome with the efficient chaos typical of a fresh start. This wasn't vanilla Minecraft, this was Spectral Suppression, a bespoke mod pack designed to integrate the high-tech, high-risk world of ghostbusting into the familiar sandbox environment. The group consisted of Leo, the pragmatic leader, Chloe, the meticulous logistics expert, Samira, the resourceful scout, Devin, the excitable muscle, and Marcus and Ethan, the inseparable duo notorious for testing boundaries until they shattered. "All right, standard procedure," Leo announced, his voice crisp over the comms. "Wood, stone, temporary shelter before dusk. Remember, the peaky signatures start spiking at sundown. We are looking for the fire station landmark, that's where the high-tier recipes are locked." They spent the first hour in a blur of resource gathering. Axes carved oak, pickaxes hammered granite, and the inventory quick slots, filled with the immediate necessities of survival. But the core mechanic of this server was the hunt, and standard survival gear was useless against ethereal threats. They needed the tech. "Peaky reader is humming," Samira reported, squinting at the small, blocky device in her virtual hand. "Low-level atmospheric residue, nothing solid. We're moving in the right direction." They pushed past a sparse patch of birch trees, bordering a swamp, and found it a structure entirely alien to the standard Minecraft generation rules. It was a dilapidated, 3-story building constructed of cracked brick and patched concrete, a distinct nod to 1980s urban architecture, crowned by a rusted, custom-modeled bell tower. This was the abandoned fire station, the heart of the Spectral Suppression mod. Inside, dust particles drifted in the shafts of sunlight slicing through broken windows. The structure was mostly hollow, but the ground floor housed several specialized, custom blocks. There was the uniform rack, granting schematic access to the coveted tan jumpsuits, the particle stream workbench, demanding advanced circuitry and focused quartz, and, most importantly, the massive, humming containment unit schematic pad. Devin immediately snagged the uniform schematic. "Fashion first, boys. You gotta look the part." The uniforms were cheap to craft, mostly wool and leather, but provided the first step of immersion. Soon, 6 figures in matching tan jumpsuits, complete with personalized name tags, were milling about the wreckage. Chloe, already accessing the blueprints, chimed in with her assessment. "The proton pack is prohibitively expensive right now. We need specialized alloy plating, focused nether quartz, and a massive supply of redstone flux. We can, however, mass-produce peaky readers and the basic ecto goggles." The ecto goggles, when equipped, filtered the vision to show subtle, shifting blocks of energy, the residual hauntings invisible to the naked eye. This allowed them to see the faint, shimmering trails left by nearby specters. Leo assigned duties, Chloe and Samira handled the redstone automation and initial trap crafting. Devin began clearing the rubble to establish a safe basement for the eventual containment unit. Marcus and Ethan, however, had zero patience for methodical progression. They had focused their entire initial resource haul into building 2 barely functional proton packs. They cheated the system, using rare diamonds they had rushed to mine, and supplementing the depleted redstone with a dangerously high concentration of unstable, blaze rod powder, a known shortcut in the mod, but one labeled with ominous warnings. The result was a pair of proton packs that hummed with a disproportionate, unsettling power. The cyclotron glowed not with the controlled blue of plasma, but an aggressive, agitated yellow. "Leo, buddy, we've got the primary heat on tap," Marcus announced, pulling the neutrino wand out of his pack's housing. Leo sighed, rubbing the bridge of his nose beneath his helmet. "You skipped 3 safety tiers. They won't last 5 minutes, and they'll probably self-destruct if you sneeze near a creeper." Details, Ethan replied, already ascending the rickety, custom-built stairs to the 2nd floor, a massive open bay where the fire engines once stood. Marcus followed, the buzzing of their packs escalating into a high-pitched whine. "Wait, where are you going?" Chloe demanded. "We haven't even calibrated the resonance frequency." Marcus planted his feet on a cracked, concrete beam near a smashed window, Ethan taking the beam parallel to him, about 20 blocks apart. "We have an urgent scientific query," Marcus declared, his volume cranked up for dramatic effect. "A philosophical imperative, if you will." Ethan echoed the sentiment. "We need to know what happens when you cross the streams." A sudden, collective noise erupted on the comms channel, a mixture of outrage, panic, and Leo's immediate, sharp command. "Absolutely not. That's in the mod instructions in big, flaming text. It's the ultimate failsafe. You will destroy everything. But will we? Marcus challenged, a wicked grin evident even in his voice. The devs put it in here. They want us to try it. For science, Leo. For science. Marcus braced himself, his blocky body tensing. He flipped the activation switch. A torrent of highly condensed plasma erupted from the neutrino wand with the sound of tearing air. The stream, normally a focused blue-white beam, was intensely yellow, unstable, and crackling with volatile energy. Ethan fired his own stream, aiming slightly inward. The beams, roaring like captive jets, met exactly in the middle of the large, second-story bay. The instant of intersection was a moment of terrifying, silent beauty. The yellow plasma did not repel or merge, it hypercondensed. For a single visual tick, a brilliant, focused point of pure white energy flared, looking like a miniature sun trapped between two beams of light. Then, the world shattered. The sound that followed was less a boom and more a physical assault, a server-shaking event that went far beyond the standard yield of a stack of TNT. The spectral suppression mod was designed to punish recklessness with terminal efficiency. The explosion was a rapid-fire sequence of tearing blocks, superheated air, and a gravitational vacuum that sucked in surrounding debris before spitting it out at ballistic speeds. Leo, Chloe, Samira, and Devon, huddled on the ground floor, were thrown backward by the concussive force. Brick and dust rained down around them. The entirety of the second floor where Marcus and Ethan had stood simply vaporized. The two concrete support beams were reduced to floating fragments of molten stone. The game's chat box was instantly flooded. Marcus was dissolved by unstable particle collision. Ethan was catastrophically dismantled by the very fabric of reality. When the agonizing roar finally subsided, the remaining 4 players slowly rose from the rubble-strewn floor. The fire station was structurally compromised, the roof now sporting a gaping hole, the size of a small quarry, its edges scorched black and molten. Chloe stared up at the sky, visible where the second floor had been. Well, that was thorough. Devon, shaking the dust off his uniform, whistled low. I think they took out half a chunk. That was nuclear. Leo, despite his frustration, had to admit a grudging respect for the mod developers. Lesson learned, the proton packs are basically mobile, poorly shielded fission reactors run on pure adrenaline. They checked the station's structural integrity. The custom blocks, the crafting tables, and the containment unit pad were miraculously shielded, embedded deep enough in the foundation to survive the overhead blast. Meanwhile, Marcus and Ethan found themselves back at the world spawn, nursing their inventories, which were now painfully empty of the rare resources they had poured into the packs. Did you see that? Marcus exclaimed, already sprinting back toward the location marker. Did you see the crater? That was legendary. We have to screenshot that thing, Ethan gasped, running slightly behind. We're rebuilding those packs immediately. But next time, maybe we do it outside the base perimeter. When they finally arrived back at the ruined fire station 15 minutes later, guided by the smoky outline on the horizon, the devastation was even more impressive up close. Where the second floor had been, the ground was now pitted, scorched, and oddly smooth. The immediate blast radius had been so intense that the stone blocks had been instantly fused into glass. A massive, perfect cylindrical crater, about 30 blocks deep, marked the spot of the intersection, a testament to the sheer, volatile power of the mod pack. Leo met them at the entrance, his arms crossed. He wasn't smiling. You two owe us a significant amount of nether quartz, Leo stated flatly. You used up enough resources to build 20 ghost traps, and now we need 3 stacks of stone, just to patch the floor. Worth it, Marcus insisted, gazing lovingly at the smoking hole. Did anyone get a video clip? This incident, however costly, served a dual purpose. It established the absolute, unforgiving danger of their gear, instilling a healthy respect in the remaining 4. And for Marcus and Ethan, it confirmed their conviction that the key to mastering the mod lay not in compliance, but in calculated, explosive experimentation. With the immediate threat of spontaneous combustion temporarily neutralized, the team set about turning the wreckage into a proper headquarters. Chloe and Samira used stone and concrete to secure the blast site, reinforcing the exterior walls. They utilized the anti-ghost paint, a specialized white quartz dye that blocked lower-level ethereal entities from passing through the walls. Devin focused on the basement, digging deep into the bedrock to ensure the foundation was stable for the containment unit, the massive, shimmering generator that would hold their captured quarry. By the next day, the fire station was transformed. Scorched, asymmetrical, but functional. It was loud, chaotic, and smelled faintly of burnt ozone, but it was theirs. The suits hung neatly on the new rack, and the rhythmic, low thrum of the freshly crafted containment unit sounded like the heartbeat of the base. Night fell, and the peaky readers in their hands began to chirp aggressively. The ecto goggles revealed shimmering, chaotic energy trails leading away from the station and toward a gloomy, newly generated cobblestone structure in the distance, a classic haunted manor. "Looks like we have a live one," Samira said, pulling her newly constructed proton pack onto her back. This one, built methodically and conservatively, hummed a stable, reassuring blue. Leo checked his gear. Packs charged. Traps ready. Devin, you're on containment standby. Marcus, Ethan, you stick to the back, and for God's sake, don't look at each other funny. The 6 players, clad in their tan uniforms, and carrying their sophisticated, dangerous equipment, stepped out of the shadow of their newly claimed, bomb-damaged fire station headquarters. Their mission was clear: clean up the spectral mess of this world, one volatile, plasma-charged stream at a time. The game had just begun.